us. And it's the first time we're doing something like this. And thank you is my colleague as GBC deputy. We go yearly at Mayapur, we have meetings. And he's responsible for even secretary to Sannyas ministry. So I told him, you're a grihastha. He's on the secretary. I'm not a sannyasi. So you can see ISKCON, is developing at an incredible rate as an institution. And, many people say, we're Hindus, we're Hindus. If you ask them, what is a Hindu? They won't be able to define it. Really, it's difficult for them. But Srila Prabhupada wanted that we have the knowledge what a Sanatan Dharma is. And this is part of that. This is brilliant. So without further ado, Vidya Prabhu, you want to welcome everyone? Just few. Are you okay? At the end, maybe you can sum it up. Yeah. Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayat Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloker Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Janmadiyasya yatanvayaditarata Sharteshva abhignya swarat Tene brahmaradhayadi kavaye Muyanti yat suraya Tejo vari mradam yatha vinimayo Yatra trisargo mrusha Dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam Satyam param dhimahi Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo Nirmatsaranam satam Vedyam vastamatra vastu shivadam Tapotrayan mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kim va pararishvaraha Sadyo hridaya vridya atra kritibhi Shushushubhistakshanat Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam Shukamukhadam mritatram vasanyutam Pibata Bhagavatam rasamalayam Muhuravo rasika bhuvi bhavuka Om ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam jena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum dinatarinam Paramanandamadhavam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Pasyate Deshatarine Nityanandamaham Naumi Sarvanandakaram Param Harinama Bradam Devam Mamaduta Shiromanim Anandalila Maya Vigrahaya Hemamba Divyachavisundaraya Tasmai Mahaprem Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So as we were discussing yesterday that the conversation between Maitreya and Viduraji, both are sitting in Haridwar. Vidura took shelter of Maitreya Muni. And then there's a description. Maitreya Rishi, he describes about the marriage of Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni was a greatly elevated Vaishnava, and he was living a very simple life on the on the bank of the river, and he was performing his tapasya. And at that time, he was been requested to get married. He was a brahmachari. I mean, he was supposed to be living a life of brahmachari. Then he was requested by his superior authorities that he should get married. So the first thing when he decided that he has to get married, he did not go or made an attempt by himself to look for a girl. Instead, he decided, let me perform tapasya, and because I want like-minded partner. A person who is like-minded and who can help me in Krishna consciousness. So, Kardama Muni, he performed tapasya for so many years, and finally Lord Vishnu, he manifested in front of him, and the Lord was very pleased by his devotional service. When the Lord appears in front of a devotee, he is actually becomes speechless. Many times when the Lord appears in front of a devotee, they become very speechless. And then Kardama Muni, he glorified the Lord in various ways, and then he decided, the Lord narrated to him that three days from now, Devahuti, who is the daughter of Manu Maharaj, they are going to come and hand over the Devahuti to you. So Devahuti is a perfect match. It is very difficult to find a perfect match in a married life, right? So Kardama Muni did not want to risk finding a wrong one. So he decided that let the Supreme Lord himself look for me a married partner. So Krishna's arrangement is considered the best arrangement, right? So he knows our heart, and he knows our liking, disliking. He knows our nature very well, and we might externally look at someone, and then we might think that she or he may be my right partner for me, but then we may be wrong. After 6 months, a year, we just might come to know that we are in a wrong place with the wrong person. So that's why Kardama Muni, he decided to pray to Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then the Lord arranged for a suitable girl for his marriage. And Kardama and Devahuti, there was a huge difference between both of them in terms of richness. Kardama Muni was a person staying on the bank of river in a very small hut, and Devahuti, she was a daughter of, she was a princess. She is a daughter of Swayambha Manu, Manu Maharaj, and there was no match in one sense. Usually what happens, a father will look for his daughter to go and get married to an appropriate, suitable, rich family. But here, he received the instructions that he had to hand over the daughter to Kardama Muni. Now we need to understand that if one is a devotee of the Supreme Lord, then he is actually the ornament of the earth. He is not an ordinary person. He has no bad habits in him. He is aspiring to perfect his life in this very birth. So Kardama Muni was the best match. And Swayam Manu Maharaj also considered that if my daughter can remain God conscious and she can be taken care of nicely and the Lord wants it, then it should happen. So Swayambha Manu himself came, Manu Maharaj himself came and handed over Devahuti to Kardama Muni. And it is said that their marriage was compared to Shiva and Bhavani. Lord Shiva was a great personality. great. He was the he's topmost amongst the Vaishnavas. He's the in charge for the destruction of the universe. And although he is all auspicious, Lord Shiva is all auspicious, supremely glorious, still Lord Shiva lives under a tree. He has no house. And Parvati, she was the daughter of the Himalayas, and she served him in a very, as if in a very insignificant situations. I mean, there is no house for a woman, for a married woman. There is no house, and they have to live under a tree. Imagine a situation. Imagine a husband and wife staying under a tree. In front of that tree, there's a big tree there. Imagine that if the husband and wife, they're staying there, what will the situation? She has to cook and do everything. So it was like that. And the marriage of Kardama and Devahuti were compared to Shiva and Bhavani. So Devahuti, she gave up her pride. She gave up her, all her designations, and she served her husband very nicely, understanding the temperament of the husband. It is very important that the husband and wife, they understand each other's temperament. Sometimes the husband has some expectations from the wife has some expectations from the husband, and then they don't understand each other. They don't connect with each other. They are married, but they just drag their marriages. But the marriage can be made beautiful if they can invest time in the relationship. They can talk about things, and then they can accordingly positively help each other, serve each other, and progress on the path of Krishna consciousnness. So Devahuti, she understood her role very well, that my husband is in tapasya, he's practicing sincere Krishna conscious life, and she put an effort to serve him by all means. Whatever possessions she used to have, I mean, she was wearing a simple sari. She just wore one sari when she came from when her father handed over that sari she had, and that was the only sari with her throughout the life. Till the time her husband actually realized that my wife has been serving me from so long and so sincerely, and he became very pleased. So Kardama Muni, he was able to attain perfection in his life because of the efforts of Devahuti. When the wife takes care of lot of different responsibilities for husband, then husband can fix himself and do his Krishna conscious life. So I just want to I have seen so many married lives like that the husband is traveling and preaching, and then the wife takes care of the house responsibility. She understands that my husband has a mission in his life, and he's traveling, he's preaching, so let me support him. So she takes care of the house, and then she supports him by whatever way she can. And so when she comes back, then they have their whole time, but she cooperates, she understands. So Devahuti was able to serve her husband by all means, and she pleased Kardama Muni. When Kardama Muni attained perfection, he looked at Devahuti, and he thanked her from inside that actually I have attained perfection because of her contribution. And he appreciated that. He went and he thanked her for her contribution. Because of your service, I was able to attain perfection in my life. And now the result of this, I want to show you. Now, in one way, Kardama Muni was on a street, right? He was staying on the banks of river. He has nothing. But actually, Devahuti knew that my husband is more powerful than Brahma. Because he was the Vaishnava. He was more powerful than Vaishnava, more powerful than Brahma also. And it was true actually. Because he asked his wife, what do you want? And they said, I want children. It was natural for her to ask for children. And she said that if you can help me, look at my body, because of her serving her husband day and night, and her body she became very weak. She lost her luster and everything, and she was not good looking. So then immediately Kardama Muni, by his yogic powers, he manifested 1,000 maid servants. And they all came in her service and told her that please, there was a Bindu Sarovar there. When Karda Muni, he attained darshan of Lord Sri Hari, at that time, Lord was crying actually by seeing the devotional attitude and devotional service of Karda Muni. The Lord actually cried, and the drops which fell had formed Bindu Sarovar. And Kardama Muni requested that go and take bath in that Bindu Sarovar. And Devahuti, she along with her maid servants, it was her surprise that how can all of a sudden 1,000 maid servants came, where that came from. But then she realized, my husband is very powerful, although he lives very simple. So people who live simple life, do not consider them as less powerful. They can also do a lot of things. So then she went and took dip in that Sarovar, and when she came out, she was more youthful, she was more beautiful than she was before. And then Karda Muni manifested an aerial mansion. It was a huge aerial mansion, and this maid servants, they brought Devahuti to Karda Muni, and then Karda Muni and Devahuti, they boarded this plane, aerial mansion, and then these aerial mansions were, they had multi-storied aerial mansions. They had everything. 1,000 servants were able to stay there. So then imagine how big the aerial mansion might be. And then they traveled, Karda Muni and Devahuti, they traveled all across the universe. They were traveling together, enjoying all kinds. They were on the world tour. I'll say universal tour. World is small for them. They are universal tour. They travel to all the planets of the demigods and everywhere. And then finally, after traveling all along, they finally again came back to the place where Karda Muni was residing. And then with the union of Karda Muni, Devahuti got 9 daughters. And when the 9 daughters were there, and Karda Muni decided that now you have got 9 daughters, so let me go. Because he already told her father also. It was a very clear-cut discussion with her father that I will take sannyas. After your daughter gets children, I will take sannyas, because I don't want to get stuck in this married life. And so Karda Muni reminded Devahuti that I have promised you that to give you children, but I have also told you that I will take sannyas, and I want to go now. So Devahuti, she said that, my dear husband, yes, I am happy that you are going for taking sannyas, but our 9 daughters, they got married to different rishis. So they got married and they have gone. I am still alone. Who will take care of me? So I want a son from you. And then Karda Muni, Kardama Muni, he understood that Supreme Lord, when he appeared before Karda Muni, he told that I will myself come as your son. Karda Muni did not ask for it. Karda Muni did not ask for it, but pleased by your devotional service, I want to become your son. That is the glories of Karda Muni. And the Supreme Lord came as Kapila, and he took birth from the womb of Devahuti. And when Kapila was born, Lord Brahma, along with all the demigods and everybody, they came to welcome Lord Kapila Dev. And there is very beautiful description of his form, how Lord Kapila was. He had golden hair and such a beautiful form of the Lord. And he appeared to establish the Sankhya philosophy. And Lord Kapila, the Supreme Lord, was in home, And Karda Muni said to his wife that I wish to go now. It is very unusual that he wanted Supreme Lord, what is perfection of life? To attend the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So Kardam Muni, he had Supreme Lord as his son in the house. Now why did he want to go to take sannyas? So Kardam Muni, he met Kapila Dev and he said, my dear son, I want to hand over the responsibility of your 9 sisters and your mother to you. And I wish to go and take sannyas. And he said, okay, my dear father, you can go and take sannyas. Now why did he go? That I want you should all think and let me know at the end. This is a question I want you all should come up with answers for that. So Kardam Muni, when he was about to leave, before actually Kapila Dev was born, Kardam Muni was about to take sannyas, and he knew that my husband is going to go. So she was actually lamenting. Devahuti lamented that my husband is a glorious devotee of the Supreme Lord. And what I have asked from him is only sense enjoyment. Because they traveled all over the aerial mansion, and I could have actually spent time with him discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, discussing Harikatha. But unfortunately, I could not do that, and now we have children. Now, before having children, there is a life, there is a different life between a couple. They have a lot of time to spend with them. But after children come, it is very difficult to spend, husband and wife, they find it difficult to spend time with each other. So, Devahuti was lamenting that I'm such an unfortunate woman that my husband is very glorious, he's a glorious devotee of the Supreme Lord, and I did not take advantage of that. And what did I do? I just enjoyed with him the material opulence. I should have asked about my self-realization. And now you're going to take sannyas, who will deliver me? And then Kardam Muni said, don't worry, Kapila is going to come. Lord Kapila is going to come as your son. The Supreme Lord is going to become your son. And he is going to speak about the science of Krishna consciousness to you. So Lord Kapila and Devahuti, they had a lot of discussions actually on the glories of devotional service, then fundamental principles of material nature. And then the Kapila instructed Devahuti on execution of devotional service, how one should execute devotional service. And then about the fruitive activities, and then also about the movements of the living entity, how a living entity transmigrates from 84 lakh species, and what happens exactly in the womb. So all these things are, the scientists who are now discovering a lot of things, all these things are already mentioned in this, what happens with the child in the womb, how at what month the consciousness comes, at what comes the hands are developed, at what months the legs are developed, and all the whole body, how is this formed in a womb. So everything is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. And then the activities, the further activities of Lord Kapila are also mentioned. So this completes the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a description about the Lord Shiva and Daksha's fight. It begins with Lord Shiva and Daksha's fight. Lord Shiva is all auspicious, all glorious. He's actually non-different from Krishna in one sense. He's very powerful. So Lord Shiva, he got married to the daughter of Daksha Prajapati. And Daksha Prajapati was Prajapati. He was a powerful personality. But he only saw Shiva as his son-in-law. He never respected Shiva as one should respect Brahmaji. Actually, Brahmaji also respects Shiva, because Brahmaji understands that although Shiva is born from me, but Shiva is more powerful than me. In terms of his devotion and in terms of everything. So once what happened, there was a big sacrifice which was organized by Daksha Prajapati, and Daksha Prajapati had biggest arrangements, and all the devatas came, all the rishis came, all the rajarshis came, so many personalities came. Brahmaji was there. Imagine in an assembly, in a program where Brahma himself is there, Shiva is there, Indra is there, personified, all these great personalities are there, all the 33 types of Devatas were there. All the Rajarshis, all the Rishis were there. All the Brahmanas like Bruhu and everybody were sitting there. And in that assembly, Prajapati Daksha enters. And as soon as Prajapati Daksha enters, everybody gets up except for Brahma and Shiva. Now, it was very natural for everybody to get up because he was senior. Right? When his senior sannyasis come, naturally everybody will get up. But there, not necessarily that there, if somebody is superior to him, if there is superior to that sannyasi, he might prefer to not get up. He may get up also, but he not prefer. So Lord Shiva was always thinking of Krishna. He was always in trance. He used to be there, but these great personalities, they're 24 hours thinking of Krishna and they're not interested in anything material. So Lord Shiva, he has 5 heads, and with one head is always chanting 24 hours the name of Lord Hari. Always chanting. 24 hours he chants the name of Lord Hari. And he was in his trance. And when Daksha Prajapati came, he thought there was no need for him to get up. But Daksha Prajapati got offended. He's saying that he's my son-in-law. And he did not get up to welcome me. Brahma is fine, he is my father. But Shiva should have got up. And Shiva did not get up. Lord Shiva did not get up. And that actually, disturbed Prajapati a lot. The people like Daksha Prajapati, who expect respect from others, they will always suffer like that. If you expect respect from others, then you will always have to suffer, because people will respect you, people will not respect you. They may like you, they may dislike you. And if you live in the material world for post or position, for name and for fame and for pratishtha, then get ready. You will always be suffering, because the greed for name and fame will never be reduced. It will always increase and increase. So one has to be very, very careful for not having such desires for respect. We as Vaishnavas, we are expected to offer all respect to others and have no respect, and we should not expect respect for our own. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has emphasized this. There are actually 8 regulative principles. Right? 4 regulative principles we know. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. That is for general people, when people begin Krishna consciousness. Then, and as they become devotees, 4 things additionally get added up in that. These 4 regulative principles get added up. What are those 4 regulative principles? Tranadapi suni chena taroriva saishnam amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. This 4 gets added up in that devotee's life. That's why a devotee has 8 regulative principles to follow, not 4. So offering, we should always, if one is not in a position to become like that, one should pray, oh my dear Lord, that please, one should pray every day that, that please give me the mood by which I can offer all my respect to others and desire no respect for my own. And I should always have that mood that everyone is superior to me. This is very, very important in Krishna consciousness, that everyone is superior to us and we are their servants. So, Daksha Prajapati was affected by that. Daksha Prajapati, what did he thought? That Lord Shiva did not respect me. And then he started chastising Lord Shiva. He started offending Lord Shiva. He started uttering words which were not suitable to be spoken for Lord Shiva. And then when that was happened, there was a fight began between Lord Shiva's associates and the Daksha Prajapati's associates. And before that could become worse, they started offending Lord Krishna, even Lord Hari also. And Lord Shiva could not take that. And that's why he just walked off from that assembly. And what happened that when Lord Shiva left, there was a good amount of time when there was no communication between Lord Shiva and Parvati and Daksha Prajapati's family. Nobody went to each other's houses. The relationships were bitter. And Daksha Prajapati, he organized one more sacrifice actually. And in that, he did not even invite Lord Shiva. He purposely did that to show Lord Shiva his position. The Lord Shiva's position is supremely glorious. Daksha Prajapati क्या बताएंगे? हाँ? उनकी Daksha Prajapati what he can say about Lord Shiva? He did not understood. It is not easy to understand a Mahabhagavata. We might see it is very difficult to understand a sadhu. Very difficult to understand because Vaishnava Kriya Mudra, Vaishnava's actions, Vaishnava's activities is very difficult to understand. We might see fault in everyone actually. And when we see a sadhu also, our mentality is that, our tendency is that we also see fault in the sadhu as well, in devotees as well. But devotees are supremely glorious. They are the ornament of the earth. Why I'm saying ornament of the earth? There is an incident actually. When Bharata Maharaj knew, when Bharat Maharaj came to know that Lord Ramachandra had decided to go to the forest, so he, along with all the Ayodhya Vasis, he started walking towards Chitrakoot, towards that place where Lord Ramachandra was residing. And Nishad Raj, who was the king of the Adivasis, who was considered as a friend of Lord Ramachandra, he came to know that Bharat Maharaj is coming with his whole army. So there was a message he got that Bharat Maharaj is declaring war against Lord Ramachandra. So he decided that he told his army that we have to now fight against the Lord Bharat. We have to fight against the army of Ayodhya. So get ready. Because for Lord's mission, for Lord Ramachandra's protection, for Lord Ramachandra's mission, we now have to sacrifice our lives. And Bharat decided, and Bharat was coming to convince Lord Ramachandra to come back. He was not coming for a fight also. And he was walking barefoot. He was walking barefoot and everybody was walking with Bharat. And one of the persons, experienced person in Nishad Raj's, Nishad Raj was king of Adivasis. And Adivasis are considered to be very low class people. They eat anything, they drink anything, so they are not so well respected. Neither they are to be, because they have very different lifestyle. But because Nishad Raj was connected with Lord Ram, he was glorious. So when Bharat Maharaj came near, so one of the members of Nishad Raja's kingdom, he told that there is some auspicious symptoms which I am experiencing. So please go and check before you declare war on Bharat. So they sent a messenger and they found out that Bharat is coming for convincing Lord Ramachandra to come back. So he was happy. And then finally when Bharat crossed the river, and Vashishji, he introduced Bharat to Nishad Raj. And what was the introduction? That this Nishad Raj, he is actually the ornament of the earth. Why? Because Lord Ramachandra considers him as his friend. So Nishad Raj was thinking, oh my God, what glorious life is because I have become a Vaishnava, I am a servant of Lord Ram, I am a friend of Lord Ram, and what glorious. So Bharat Maharaj, when he understood that he is the friend of Lord Ram, he went and embraced Nishad Raj. Vashishji went and embraced Nishad Raj. So such glorious is Krishna consciousness, such glorious is the devotional life, that even great personalities like Bharat Maharaj and Vashishji, they consider that person as very, very fortunate, because one has become associated with Lord Ramachandra, one who has taken shelter of Lord Sri Krishna or Lord Ramachandra. So this Lord Shiva was the glorious Vaishnava. Glorious Vaishnava. He's the topmost amongst the, without Lord Shiva's mercy, one cannot attain supreme perfection. Because Lord Shiva is Vaishnavana Metha Shambho. Without his mercy, without the mercy of the Vaishnava, like Lord Shiva, one cannot attain perfection, one cannot get Krishna. And Daksha Prajapati messed his life with Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, he did not have any connection with him. Daksha Prajapati said, okay, fine, if they all parted ways. But Parvati, she was naturally very attached to her father, her mother, her sisters. They all were there. What was the reason? Because that was her family. Between the fight between the father-in-law and the son-in-law, who suffers? Who suffers actually? The daughter, or the daughter of the daughter suffers the most. So Sati, once she heard that there was a incident, there was a program being organized, an event being organized in her father's house, and she was very curious, she was very eager to go and attend. But she used to go on the main door and then come back, and used to go to see Lord Shiva. And then again she used to go, said, let me go. Oh, no, Lord, my husband is not respected there. No, she goes back again. So to and fro she was going, and Lord Shiva was observing her, what is going on? She wants to go, but she also did not want to go. And then above that, the devatas, the demigods who were flying on the sky, they are purposely flying over Kailash. And all the respective wives of the demigods, they were saying, look, Parvati is not going. Yes, Sati is not going. They were saying that, Sati, why are you not going? And then he said, yes, I'm actually coming. You go, I'm coming. So the devatas, they were also actually trying to tease Sati in that way. And Sati, she was in dual minds, what should I do? So she goes and finally talks to her husband. Said, my dear husband, there is an event at my father's place. And as yes said, yes, I heard that. I think we should both go. But yes, but we are not invited. And one should not go to a place where you're not invited. He said, yes, but that is our father's place. And you don't need invitation to go to your father's place. I agree. But I don't wish to go because our relationships are not good. So I don't want to further spoil our relationships. But I wish to go. I said, but I suggest that you should not go as well, because wherever I am not respected, wherever you're not invited, you should not go. But she was in dual mind. And finally Sati decided, let me go. And she just walked out of the house. And as soon as she walked out of their place, immediately Lord Shiva indicated to all the associates, follow her. And immediately the palanquin came, and all the karva, all the bugles and everything was barat. Barat, Antaraj, yeah. And immediately she was made to sit on the palanquin, and every Nandi and everybody, they started to play their horns and everything, and it was a grand arrival. So Daksha Prajapati's house had a grand arrival of Sati. Lord Shiva's wife is coming. Although Lord Shiva was Fakkada Baba, he was staying in under a tree, but he had all his associates and everything. Hundreds and thousands of associates were there. Who were their associates? All the bhutas, pishachas, all the rakshasas. They were associates of Lord Shiva. Pashupati Nath hai na? So all the animals were there. So everything, it was like a zoo going with Parvati. When Lord Shiva and Parvati were supposed to get married, there is lot was glorified about Lord Shiva, but actually when Lord Shiva came in front of Daksha Prajapati, and especially the wife of Daksha Prajapati, he saw that Lord Shiva has snakes over it, So Shiva said, oh my God, my daughter is going to get married to this man who has snakes around it. I cannot go even near to him, to even put tilak to him. So that was a very unusual Lord Shiva. And he has all the ashes over his body. So Lord Shiva is to purposely do that. So when Daksha Prajapati saw that Sati is coming, Sati came there, he neglected completely. But Sati was welcomed by her sisters and her brother and the mother. And what happened was that Sati started to carefully observe the ceremony going on. And she found out that all the oblations were offering fire and Lord Shiva's name was not chanted. And no yajna is complete without chanting of Lord Shiva's name. And then she also heard people were laughing at Sati and they started criticizing Lord Shiva. And that actually disturbed her a lot. And she said, she started remembering that Lord Shiva used to call her Dakshayani. Why Dakshayani? Because this body was given to her by Daksha Prajapati, and that's why Lord Shiva used to tease her that Dakshayani, lovingly. When there are so many names, the husband and wife, they call each other. There are good names. Nowadays, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to find out that they are calling their dog or their husband. But earlier days, the names will be Dakshayani. So Dakshayani was a name which was identified as a daughter of Daksha. And Sati remembers that Lord Shiva used to tease her. And she decided that now the time has come that I should disconnect this body with Daksha Prajapati. And she decided to give up her life. And she meditated on the Yogagni, and that manifested, and Sati gave up her life there itself in front of them. Nobody even made an attempt to stop her. And when Daksha Prajapati got the news that the daughter left, and everybody there in that assembly, when they thought of what is going to happen next, they were shaking in fear. Because till this time everything was okay. Sati came and it was they were teasing her and they were talking about Lord Shiva and all. But when Sati gave up her life, at that time they could understand that it is a chaos now. Because Lord Shiva is going to get angry. But who will inform Lord Shiva? Who will take that responsibility? And yes, who other than His Divine Grace, Narad Muni, takes that responsibility. Narad Muni goes to Kailash, and as I said that, did you hear the news? He said, what? Sati left the world. Sati left. And Lord Shiva could not digest that fact. So Lord Shiva started Tandav. He started the Tandav and he started dancing like mad. In front, Narad Muni was witnessing everything. And in front of Narada, Lord Shiva actually manifested Veerabhadra. And Veerabhadra was such a gigantic, fearful personality. He told Veerabhadra, he was actually Rudransha. And he told Veerabhadra, cut off the head of Daksha. No forgiveness. So Veerabhadra was so strong, so powerful. When Veerabhadra started to go towards Daksha Prajapati's sacrificial arena, the whole earth was trembling. And all the devatas there, they understood, is Shiva coming? Is Lord Shiva upset or who? And they said, then some of them, they understood that by this, the way he was coming, it was Veerabhadra. And Veerabhadra came and he dismantled everything there. All of them who were laughing, each and everyone got treated very nicely. All the devatas who laughed, all the brahmanas who laughed, all the people who teased, everything, all of them, they got treated. And Daksha Prajapati was caught hold by Veerabhadra and his head was cut off. Anyways, so then Daksha Prajapati's head was cut off. Then it was replaced by the head of a goat. That was the punishment. And everybody, but before that, everybody went and pacified Lord Shiva. Brahma went to pacify Lord Shiva because the yajna was meant for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. And that yajna was incomplete. So it was not proper to leave a sacrifice just in the middle. So they all went to Brahmaji came there, Brahmaji was there, then they went to Lord Shiva, pacified him, and he said, forgive, this was on the cards, so it, so please forgive Daksha Prajapati. And then, but Daksha Prajapati was dead, and they decided that to put the head of a goat, and Daksha Prajapati, for so many years, he lived as a goat. So as a goat in the body of a head of a goat, he begged forgiveness from Lord Shiva. He understood, he realized this mistake. And then Shiva gave his blessings and the Om Namah Shivaya Swaha and the yajna was offered. in the name of Lord Shiva as well. And then the whole sacrifice was complete. And the Lord also came there, manifested there. So this is how the sacrifice was performed by Daksha. You should know, one thing. So many things happened there in that situation just because of one thing. Just because of getting angry. This anger is the biggest problem of our life. Just anger. Because, if you are in a situation where we get angry, then, everything spoils. But that same situation, if with a cool head, if you can carefully understand, okay, somebody else is upset, so let me not get upset. And very carefully, if we handle that situation, we can actually dealt it so nicely that a lot of things can be avoided. But we failed to understand that. We became angry, we became upset, and because of that, the whole situation changes. One person gets angry, the another person gets angry, and angry, the ego clashes, and so many things happen. There are fights, there are two groups, the people fight, two groups fight, two nations fight, two states fight. It just goes on. Now the countries are fighting. Just because of what? Anger. People suffer. There is so much suffering. Daksha has to go through so much suffering. Just for, what was the reason? He just got upset with Lord Shiva. If he could have controlled his anger. और दमादी तो था ना. क्या समस्या थी? Chalo, if you don't consider Lord Shiva as the most powerful personality, but at least he's your damad. Chhod dena chahiye tha. But Daksha Prajapati did a big mistake there, and the result was this. Now, there is a pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was 5 years old, son of Uttanapad. Uttanapad Maharaj had 2 wives, Suniti and Suruchi. And Dhruva Maharaj was very of 5 years old, Dhruva Maharaj. And one day, Dhruva Maharaj goes and he wanted to meet his father. And his palace, his mother's palace, was not near the main palace of the king. It was far away. So Dhruva Maharaj used to come and he wanted to meet his father. And he saw that Uttama, his step-brother, was sitting on the lap of his father. So Dhruva also wanted to go and climb on the lap of his father. And he was making an attempt. But there Suruchi, the mother of Uttama, was there, and she did not like that. Suruchi and Suniti both were the wives of Uttanapad. And Suniti, Dhruva's mother, was actually the eldest wife. But Suruchi was very, very dear to the king. And that's the reason she was also very beautiful. And that's the reason Uttanapad Maharaj kept her near, and she kept Dhruva Maharaj's mother, Suniti, away. And Dhruva Maharaj, when he came there and he made an attempt to climb her father's lap, at that time the Suruchi, the stepmother of Dhruva Maharaj, she pulled Dhruva and she dragged her down from the lap of her father. And he said that, Dhruva, you're not qualified to sit on the lap of the father. He said, why? Uttama is sitting, why shall not I sit? He's also my father. And he said, yes, he's your father, but your mother is not me. Your mother is different. You took birth from a wrong womb. It could have been good if you could have taken birth from my womb, and then I could have given you the right to sit there. So you have no adhikar to sit there. And she said, you go now. And you perform tapasya. If you want to sit there, what should I do to sit there? Dhruva Maharaj asked. You said, now you go now. Perform tapasya for Narayan. And when you get darshan of Narayan, ask Narayan to give you birth again from my womb. And when you take birth from my womb, then you are qualified to sit on the lap of your father. Now you go. So Dhruva Maharaj, a 5-year-old boy, a Kshatriya boy, he got very deeply hurted. And then he started walking straight to his mother. So when he reached his mother, his mother understood everything. What has happened, how he was dealt. And she became very sad. But what to do? What should she say? Right? She said, my dear Dhruva, whatever your stepmother has said, she has said nothing wrong. She has said that you should go and take shelter of Narayana. So you should go and take shelter of Narayana. Dhruva was saying, he was child. He was saying, my dear mother, I want a position now, not of my father, but I want a position of my position is greater than my father. And greater than my grandfather and great-grandfather Brahma as well. I want such a position. I'm not satisfied now with this sitting on the lap of my father enough. I want a position which is greater than Brahmaji. And he asked, my dear mom, my dear mother, how did Brahmaji get that position? Brahmaji's position. And how did Manu Maharaj get that position? My grandfather, how did he get that position? And the mother said, by performing devotional service to Lord Narayana. Said, my dear mother, I want to perform devotional service to Lord Narayana. I want a position which is superior than Brahma. So can you please tell me, how can I get that? And Dhruva Maharaj's mother said, for that you have to go to forest. And that 5-year-old Dhruva said, yes, I will go to the forest, my dear mother. Please guide me. He said, where does this Narayana stay? Narayana stays in the forest. I will go. And he said, yes, go and attain perfection. So Dhruva Maharaj got blessings from his mother, and Dhruva Maharaj, little 5-year-old boy, 5 to 6 years old boy, he started walking in the forest. He was so convinced. First thing is there. He has unflinching faith in the instructions of his mother. And he had so much conviction that I will attain the Lord in this birth. That so much faith and conviction was there. And Dhruva Maharaj was walking alone. People who are advanced in their age, they will be afraid of going to the forest. But here Dhruva Maharaj was going, he was so convinced. And while he was on the path to the forest, the Lord indicated Narad Muni to go and help Dhruva Maharaj. So Narad Muni appeared there. And Narad Muni, when he came there, he said, Dhruva, what are you doing in the forest? And saying, Naradji, I am in the forest because I want to attain Lord Narayana. Lord Narayana? Attaining Lord Narayana? Do you think that is easy to attain Lord Narayana? Huh? And Dhruva Maharaj said, yeah, my mother told me that Lord Narayana stays in the forest, and that's why I am going in the forest. And Narad Muni said, what is wrong with you? Why are you here? And then Narad Muni, he explained that I wanted to sit on the lap of my father. And my stepmother did not allow that, and she threw me. And then that's why now I want to attain a position which is higher than Brahma also. And Narada said, Hare Majabala, my dear child, this is the time for you to go and play. This is not the time. A 5-year-old boy, if he talks like this, what will you advise? What will you advise? If a 5-year-old boy tells you that I want to go to Vrindavan right now, I want to go to Vrindavan now, and I want to attend Lord Krishna, what will you say? This is not the time. Now you go to school, you'll grow up, and then when you grow up, you associate with the devotees here in Crawley, and you'll meet so many wonderful devotees. You'll associate with them. Gradually, when you become old, and you can take Vanaprastha and you can go consider into Vrindavan. Not now, right? This is what we may advise. So Narad Muni is advising him, this is now time to play. You should play now. Go and play. Go to the school. And be happy. And Narad Muni, he was very upset with Narad Muni. He said, Naradji, I heard about you, that you have helped so many people attaining Supreme Lord. And now why you're playing with me? Can you please tell me the path of how to attain Lord Narayana? Otherwise, my mother has already told me he's in the forest and I will go and find him. And Narad Muni was saying to himself, wow, look at the Kshatriya spirit. He's a just 5-year-old boy, but he is so hurted, deeply hurted, which is material. But his mother guided him, channelized his anger in such a way that he was able to, go on the path of Krishna consciousness. And Dhruva Maharaj decided that he wants to attain perfection in his life. So Dhruva Maharaj was on his way, and Narad Muni came, and Narad Muni was trying to convince him. And Dhruva Maharaj said, a lot of instructions were given by him, that you should not, guna adhikar mudam lipsidanu kroshan guna dhamat metrin samanadan vishranata parabhibhuyate. And so many instructions were given by Narad Muni to Dhruva Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj said very clearly to Naradji that Naraji, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm a Kshatriya. All these instructions are falling on my inner deaf ears. I'm not able to understand anything right now. I just want to attain the lotus feet of Narayana. I'm so convinced right now that if you don't want to help me, please go. I will find my way. And Narad Muni is actually pleased with him, and he said, Dhruva, this is the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You go from here straight to Madhuvan in Brajmandal. And there in 6 months from now, the Supreme Lord will be standing in front of you. And in the first month you do this, second month you do this, third month you do this, fourth month you do this, fifth month, sixth month, all the guidelines were given, and you should meditate on the form of the Lord. And Narad Muni narrated the supreme form of the Lord. The Supreme Lord is not Nirakar. Supreme Lord has form. If Supreme Lord was Nirakar, without any form, Narad Muni could have told, go and meditate on the Supreme Brahman. But here Narad Muni did not say that. Narad Muni said, go and find this is the form of the Lord. This is a description. So you go and meditate on this, chant the holy name, and you will see the Supreme Lord face to face. Every month, Narad Muni, this little boy, he initially he used to only drink little water, and used to have some kandamula fal after every 3 days. Then it increased to 6 days. The third month it increased to 12 days. Then the fourth month it increased further, and gradually he stopped eating anything. And on the last month he even stopped breathing. Last few days he even stopped breathing, and because his breathing stopped, the universal breathing stopped. Because somehow the Lord was inside his heart. The Lord has manifested inside his heart, and he was meditating on the form of the Lord, and he became so his breathing and the universal breathing became one actually. And when he stopped breathing, the oxygen in the whole of the universe stopped, and all the demigods and everybody got disturbed by that, and they all went to Lord Vishnu and said, please go and meet your devotee because he's creating problems for us. So then the Supreme Lord appeared in front of Dhruva. And when Dhruva Maharaj was, he was standing on 1 foot. And in this position, he was on the 1 foot, and he was meditating on the Supreme Lord. The Lord's form was in the heart. When the actual Lord came in front of him, and the Lord saw that Dhruva is meditating on my form inside his heart. So how should I bring him to consciousness, external consciousness? So the form of the Lord disappeared from Dhruva's heart. And as soon as that disappeared, Dhruva Maharaj got disturbed, and he opened his eyes and he saw the Supreme Lord Hari standing in front of him. And when Dhruva Maharaj saw that beautiful form of the Lord with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, he was speechless. What should I do? What should I say? He has nothing. He did not go to school. He did not learn anything. No Sanskrit, no glories, nothing. And he was actually, he wanted to say so many things, but he was not able to do that. So the Lord touched his crown shell to Dhruva's cheeks. And when that crown shell was touched, all the transcendental knowledge was revealed in the heart. Divya Gyan Hridaya Prakashita. And then Dhruva Maharaj started offering various prayers. And Lord was very pleased with that. And Dhruva Maharaj said to Supreme Lord that, I don't want anything from you. Whatever I want is only pure devotional service. I don't want anything. I had aspired, I have come here with the intention, with a desire to gain a position which is higher than Brahma. But now after seeing you, I'm thinking that I was actually going for the pieces of glass, but I actually got a diamond. So I have you in my life, so I do not want anything else in this life. So Dhruva Maharaj, when he said this to the Supreme Lord Supreme Lord said, I'm very pleased with your devotion, but I cannot refuse to give it, because you started your devotional service with the intention of getting this position. So I'm giving you that position. You will get a kingdom for 36,000 years. Dhruva Maharaj ruled the whole kingdom. So this Uttanapad's kingdom is going to come to you, and for 36,000 years you're going to remain as a king. And after he gave up this body, he wanted a position which is higher than Brahma. And Brahma's superior to Brahma, there is no position as such. There is only my abode. So there is an abode of mine which is called a Shvetadip, which is localized Vaikuntha. So that is from today onwards, that place will be known as Dhruvaloka. So you will reside in that position, in that place. In that place. So when Dhruva Maharaj, he ruled for 36,000 years, and when he gave up when he was about to give up his body, the associates of the Lord of Vaikuntha came there. What is the praman that that place where Dhruva Maharaj went is Vaikuntha? Because the Lord's associate came on Garuda, and 4 of them they came to take Dhruva Maharaj. So Vaikuntha Natha's associates came there and they took Dhruva Maharaj, and he went to the abode of the Lord. And Dhruva Maharaj, while he was traveling to the abode of the Lord, he requested that his mother should also be taken. And they indicated that, look, Dhruva Maharaj, she's going further than you. She's already on her way back. So you don't need to worry for that. So that is the glorious life of Dhruva Maharaj. In Dhruva Maharaj's line, in his descendants, there was a King Vena. King Vena was a very unusual personality. King Vena was a king, but usually we see that the kings are Rajarshis, but he was not Rajarshi. He was like a demonic mentality. When Dhruva Maharaj left the world, then gradually in his descendants there were so many other kings, and then King Vena became the king. And the king actually is a representative of the Supreme Lord. And King Vena started actually considering himself a Supreme Lord. Hiranyakashipu was very, very powerful, and he started requesting people that everybody should worship him. And he was so powerful that everybody actually worshipped him because, there was no options with them. So here, King Vena was considering himself that he is Supreme Lord. He's not representing Supreme Lord, but he's that powerful that he's the Supreme Lord himself. And then, actually, his father, King Vena's father was, his father was a very great devotee of the Lord. But he had no son, and somehow the son was born because the wife of that King Anga, I think his father's name, I'm not able to recollect that, but his father's name, his father was King Anga, and his wife was coming from the demoniac line. And that's why the King Vena was born, because of the qualities which were coming from the mother's side. So, when King Vena was born, it displayed all the symptoms that he is a rogue, he was a rascal. And he used to plunder people, he used to trouble people, he used to exploit people, he used to loot people, he used to trouble everybody. But when King Anga, he was disturbed by King Vena's activities, and he could not digest the fact that I have a son like this, and he got troubled and he decided to take Vanaprastha abruptly. So he went for the forest. So all the ministers and everybody, they looked for King Anga, but he was not found. And so they had no option but to enthrone, to make king as Vena. Although when King Anga left, and till the time Vena became the king, there was a certain amount of gap, and in that time what happened, lot of thieves and lot of people who started creating chaos in the society. Sab gunde log bhar gaye. All the dacoits and everything started increasing. The women were disturbed, the children were disturbed. So there was a chaotic situation. And lohe ko loha marta hai. So the Brahmanas thought that he is the biggest gunda, Vena. So if this gunda becomes the king, then all these little gundas will shut up. And that actually happened when King Vena came into power. All this, he made sure that all these little gundas were put into jail, or they were treated. So King Vena was very, very powerful, very, very influential. But there was one problem with him. He started considering himself very, very powerful. So Brahmana used to regularly advise him that you are a representative of the Supreme Lord, you are not a Supreme Lord. But he became so puffed up that he was considering that he is the Supreme Lord, and he started telling everybody that everybody should worship me. Stop all these sacrifices for Vishnu, and king is the representative of Vishnu. King is Vishnu, so you all should worship me. Offer all sacrifices to me. And this did not go well with Bhrigu and other rishis. And the Bhrigu and other rishis, they cursed him to die, and his body was, he actually died. But there was another problem now. The whole world was without a king. And there was a chaotic situation. So Vena's mother was very attached to Vena, and she preserved the body. Now Bhrigu and other rishis, they had a discussion. The Bhrigu and other rishis, they had a discussion that how can we do something by which we can give birth to a child from King Vena. And they knew the science. So they initially they actually they rubbed the body of King Vena, and from his thighs Nishada came. All the sinful activities were removed, and then from that when they did some chanted some mantras in a mystic way, the Lord Prithu appeared from the body of King Vena. So Lord Prithu was the supreme personality of Godhead, and along with his wife, he appeared from King Vena's body. It is very unusual. Now we need to understand the Lord can appear from anywhere. If he can appear from a pillar, so why cannot he appear from the body of someone? So it doesn't need, Lord does not need, Lord is everywhere. So he can manifest from anywhere. So just like when Lord Shiva was born from, when Lord Shiva was born, he was born, when Brahma became angry, he born from the nostrils of Brahmaji. So like that, so in different ways the Lord, if he wants, he can appear in front of, in the world. So King Vena, when he died, Prithu came and Prithu appeared, and all the kings, all the small kings who were there, and they became very happy, and all the rishis became very happy, and they all came and glorified Prithu Maharaj. And Prithu Maharaj was the supreme personality of Godhead. So there were professional reciters who came and glorified Prithu Maharaj in all the ways. And Prithu Maharaj was actually an ideal king. Prithu Maharaj was... So once what happened, when Prithu Maharaj became the king, he found that what was lacking with the previous king. And he found out that when King Vena was there, because of the sinful activities, the Mother Earth refused to give out things. Mother Earth was not producing grains. The mountains and everything. So all the Mother Nature was refused to give food and all the necessary requirement for the benefit of the people. When there is a pious king, then Mother Nature, Mother Earth, she becomes very happy and she gives out everything. She gives all the minerals, all the necessary minerals, all the required food grains, all the essential things for the benefit of the people. But when the king is impious, like Vena, it becomes very difficult. It becomes very, very difficult for the Mother Earth to actually yield things. What happens, when Mother Earth is happy, when a cow is happy, she will give milk. When the cow is not happy, it is very difficult to derive milk from her. If she's sad, if she's unhappy, if she's not taken care nicely, then how will she give good milk? These days, in the Goshalas, in so many different places, the cows are being sent to slaughterhouses to kill them. And you can see actually, when the cows go to slaughterhouses, they are sad. They are crying. They know that they are going to get slaughtered, so they cry. It is a very unfortunate situation that we are in this world. I remember I was in Odisha in 2009 and 2009. 1 year I stayed in the village of Odisha and was preaching there. And I somehow landed up in a place where they were cutting the cow. And I just saw that, and I could not do anything actually, because it was, who cut the cows. I just want to take the name of I don't want to take the name of the community, but I landed in that place where they were cutting the cow, and I vomited literally, and I could not see, I could not digest that. It was so painful. For years and years, that particular scene remained in my memory. And such a helpless situation we are in, that a cow, our mother, is getting slaughtered and we are not able to do anything. So there should be a revolution actually. There should be a revolution to save mother cow. So imagine a situation where the mother is been tortured in this way. Mother Earth is tortured in this way. Mother Earth is actually, she has a form of a cow. And if she is tortured, how will she give milk? How will she give the necessary supplies to all the human beings? And that's what happened. Mother Earth refused to give all the required stuff to the human beings. And King Pruthu got very, very upset. And King Pruthu was very angry at the earth. And King Pruthu went behind her to kill her actually. Because she was upset, she was not listening. So Pruthu Maharaj was a king, he was a supreme lord, and he could chastise Mother Earth. So he was behind her to chastise her, but Mother Earth realized that he is a supreme lord, and he told that if you can milk me, if you are going to take care of me and you are going to milk me, then I will start giving different stuffs. So all the devatas, all the asuras, they all came together. All the human beings, everybody came together and they started milking. Their departmental heads, they all came and they started milking mother cow, and they took all the necessary things from Mother Earth. And in this way, the whole earth again became fully glorious, and all the necessary stuff was provided to them. So Mother Earth, one has to read things in detail to understand, what exactly, how exactly these things happened. So then King Pruthu performed 100 horse sacrifices. And when King Pruthu was performing 100 horse sacrifices, Indra became very upset. Because one who Ashwamedha Yagya, one who performs 100 Ashwamedha Yagyas, what happens? One becomes qualified to become Indra. Okay? Please, either jao or ao. Do one thing at a time. This becomes, one loses the link. So when where were we? Yes, when someone performs 100 Ashwamedha Yagyas, then he becomes qualified to become Indra. When one performs 1000 Ashwamedha Yagyas, he becomes qualified to become Brahma. So King Pruthu, he was a Supreme Lord, Shaktiavesh avatar of the Supreme Lord. He had no desire to become Indra. But Indra, when he found out that Pruthu Maharaj was performing Ashwamedha Yagya, he came and kidnapped the horse. He did that several times. And finally, when King Pruthu was very upset, and King Pruthu's son wanted to kill Indra, and Indra what he used to do? He used to change his dress into sannyas vesha. Every time he used to, there was an attempt made to kill Indra, he used to take a dress of a sadhu or a sannyasi or a brahmana or something like that. So all the pakhandas, I'll say that pretenders, they were actually predicted that there are so many pretenders will be there in the world in the name of spirituality. Today, there are so many spiritualist people, but most of them, they have made spirituality a business. They made yoga also into business. It is so surprising that yoga, which is meant for connecting with the Supreme Lord, now it is a business. It is a highest, without any investment actually. It is what investment is there in yoga classes? One just need to go to Rishikesh, stay there for some weeks, learn the yoga, come back and start his own education, start giving yoga here. That is not yoga. Yoga means what? Yoga means connecting with the Supreme Personality of God. That is yoga. But what do we see as yoga these days? The physical exercises. One can, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that one can keep squeezing his nose, but one can never attain Supreme Lord by squeezing that nose. We need to understand that. By squeezing of the nose, one cannot gain spiritual perfection. That is only for the body. Spiritual perfection can be attained by chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Prithu Maharaj was exhibiting an ideal administrator, an ideal prime minister or ideal president of a country. He was ruling the whole world, but he was showing and how can one become an ideal king. So he was ruling his citizens very nicely like a father. As an administrator, as an in charge of a small place or a big place, the administrator's duty is to make sure that those citizens are treated with love and care. The citizens, the praja, has to be comfortable. All their demands should be fulfilled, and they should be given a platform for practicing bhakti. So Prithu Maharaj was the best king. He was the supreme lord, and he set an ideal example for all of us to follow. His speech, he gave a speech to his people, and that speech is to be read several times actually. And that speech actually establishes what are the duties of a king. He said, you made me a king today, but I have certain duties to follow, and these things I am going to do. And he actually did. The whole kingdom was pleased. When a king is pious, all the citizens, if the king is a devotee, if he is a pious, then all the citizens under him, they also come on the path of devotion. When Ambrish Maharaj was a king, the entire kingdom, the entire whole planet Earth was devoted. It happened. It is very difficult to relate to this, that how can it happen that the whole world, every citizen can become Krishna conscious. But if the king was like that, initially what used to happen, that there were small kings of these different countries, and there was one emperor of them, the supreme king who used to reside in India, Bharat Bhumi. Bharat used to rule the whole world actually. Hastinapur was the capital most of the time. In the last few yugas, the last few, I'll say that before the Kali Yuga started, till Yudhishthira Maharaj and Parikshit Maharaj and his dynasties, Hastinapur was the kingdom. And Hastinapur used to rule the whole world. And Hastinapur, the king of Hastinapur, how was his consciousness? That used to reflect on the kingdom as well, the people in the kingdom as well. If he was a devotee, then everybody was devoted. If the king Vena became the king, then everybody became like him only. They all were into same business, similar business. Kundagardi bad gayi thi. Everybody became a dacoit in their nature, and everybody was looting people and cheating people. All these things increased. So when Prithu Maharaj came, things changed, and every consciousness of the people changed. So it is very important that a person, when he comes in that administrative positions, he rules in such a way that he gives platform for others also to practice God consciousness. So Prithu Maharaj perfectly did that. And then Prithu Maharaj was visited once by 4 Kumaras. And 4 Kumaras came there, 4 Kumaras blessed, and he showed how to receive a sadhu. It is very important that as grahasthas or a king, whoever it might be, you need to understand that he need to serve the sadhus and follow under the direction. So Prithu Maharaj was visited by so many saintly people all the time, and he was visited by 4 Kumaras, and 4 Kumaras guided him that you are doing perfectly well in your kingdom. So you should do certain things. So some guidance was given. So a king or an administrator should always consult with brahmanas or sadhus. How should he lead his kingdom? So we might be manager, we might be in a certain positions. We should always seek guidance from others. That I have so many people working under me. How should I deal with them? One should not just whimsically appoint someone, suspend someone. There is a way of dealing with people, dealing with care, because you're spoiling others' life. Somebody is depending on you. So he is working under you, is serving under you, has faith in you. So you cannot cheat them. There is a way of dealing with people. If somebody commits mistake under you, then how to correct them? You should be like a parent to them. a person, just like he takes care of his own family, the same way for him, the whole of his citizens should be considered, people working under him are like a family for him. And just like the same love and affection he gives for his own children, the same love and affection a king is supposed to be giving to all the citizens. That is the duty of a king. So further, King Prithu attains perfection. He goes to the abode of the Lord. And then there is a description about how Narad Muni meets Prachin Barhi. Prachin Bhari was a person who was absorbed in karma kanda activities. And Prachin Bhari used to so he was met by Narad Muni, and Narad Muni instructed him on the path of devotional service, and so many different things are been described in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So now coming further to the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the 5th canto.
Can we give you a round of applause for so far?
So in the 5th canto begins with the life of Rishabhadev. Rishabhadev is a supreme personality of Godhead, another Shakti Avishavatar. Rishabhadev is a very special incarnation, and he came from the womb of Meru Devi and King Nabhi. And all the characteristics of supreme personality of Godhead were there in Rishabhadev. And Brahma and others, they came and glorified Lord Rishabhadev. So Rishabhadev set an ideal example how should one become a king, and at the same time he set an example how to one renounce everything. And Rishabhadev had 100 sons, and one of the sons was Bharat Maharaj. Now Bharat Maharaj was the same Bharat on whose name we are calling this whole Prithvi or Bharat Bhumi as Bharata. Earlier it was named as Ajnab Varsha, but now after Bharat Maharaj came, the way he ruled, he was now the whole country was called as Bharata. So Bharat Maharaj, there is a very unusual thing happened in life of Bharat Maharaj. Ek harin ke liye Bharat dhari duidhe. For one deer, King Bharat, he got 2 bodies. He had to take 2 bodies. Bharat Maharaj was ruling the whole world. And he left his kingdom, his wife, his family for attaining perfection, for attaining the Supreme Lord. And he went to forest. But Bharat Maharaj, when he went to forest, he got attached to a deer there. A person who, now one has to be very careful. You can see a person who gave up his opulent kingdom, he gave his beautiful wife, he gave his beautiful children, he gave up everything. But Bharat Maharaj, when he went to forest, he became attached to a deer. And then he fell down from that position. So Bharat Maharaj was actually on a state of topmost consciousness of his spiritual life. He went giving up married life, giving up household life is not easy. And he did that. He was able to achieve that position, that thing, that giving up household life, giving such a kingdom. There are so many there are some Brajvasis doing tapasya not Brajvasis, there are some people doing tapasya in Braj. And once I found out that one particular person, he was so rich that thousands and thousands of crores of property was there in that person's name. And he was living so simply in Braj. And every month, his children used to come with so many cars, and they used to meet their father, and they used to say, Pitaji, please come back, please come back. And he renounced everything for the pleasure of the Lord. It is not easy to give up opulence, kingdom for the pleasure of, but the Lord's devotional service is so glorious that one feels that all these things are like, pieces of glass, and one gives it up. But one has to be very careful. Walking on the path of bhakti is also, one has to be careful that we remain in the association of the devotees. Bharata Maharaj, he gave up his kingdom and he was in the forest doing tapasya all alone. And what happened? There, a lion roared in that forest once. And what happened? This deer was carrying a baby, and this deer was crossing a river, and she got afraid that the lion will attack her, and the baby dropped from her womb, and the baby started floating in the river. So Bharat Maharaj actually saw that. And it was proper for Bharat Maharaj, anybody, even for us also, it was very proper for him that he jumped in the river, saved that baby, because he saw that the mother died. The lion killed the deer, and he saw that the mother died. So he jumped in the river, and he took that deer baby, and he came out. Anybody could have done that. And that is absolutely fine. If somebody is in danger, one can go and rescue that little baby. So he brought back. But the problem was now that Bharat Maharaj started considering that this is the arrangement of the Lord, that I have found this deer, and it is my duty to take care of this deer. Now here is where the missing link is, that we don't have, Bharat Maharaj did not have Sadhu Sangha here. If Bharat Maharaj was in Sadhu Sangha, was an association of devotees, then naturally they could have guided him that, okay, you saved him, but you should give it to, you should have given that boy to deer community. The other deers are there, they will take care of it. But Bharat Maharaj took it to himself that it is my responsibility to take care of it. And so he started nurturing it, caring for it, eating with it, sleeping with it, feeding it. Bharat Maharaj was feeding that little baby deer, and as it was growing like his own child. And what happened? Gradually his attachment for deer became so much. The deer was attached to Bharat Maharaj, and Bharat Maharaj also attached to the deer. And the relationship became so condensed that Bharat Maharaj, even when the deer used to roam around, in the jungle, he used to get worried that if a lion and tiger may not eat it. And he was so attached to that deer that his sadhana got compromised. His Gayatri and everything got compromised. He forgot to do even sandhyas also. That's how he was attached. And then Bharat Maharaj's life was spent remembering that deer, and the time and serving that deer, and the time of his death came. And Bharat Maharaj remembered that deer. While he was giving up his body, he was thinking, where is that deer? Where is my deer? Where is my... And in thinking of that deer, Bharat Maharaj gave the body. Imagine a king who gave up his whole opulence, everything, whole material opulence. It gave it up, but now he became attached to a deer. And he became a deer in the next life. But what? Lord is kind to the people who have sincerely practiced Krishna consciousness. In the body of a deer also, Bharat Maharaj, which became a deer, the deer was able to remember his past life. And this is only possible because of Lord's intervene. Because the Lord, from Bhagavan Sahi, from Lord only we get the smriti and vismriti. From the Lord comes the remembrance and forgetfulness. If the Lord wants us, we can remember all our past lives. I was doing some fortune is there that I got an opportunity to stay in Giriraj for 3 years. And every day I used to do parikrama for some days. And there, while doing parikrama, there was a sadhu staying on the, on the foothills of Giriraj. And I used to often say Hare Krishna to him. And then gradually, every day he saw me, I saw him, I was greeting him. And then I found more detail about him. I said, once I decided to spend some time with him. And he looked very ordinary, right? Very ordinary person. He has beard and very simple living. And that sadhu, I could recognize that he was chanting every day. Throughout the day he used to chant. So I asked him, Babaji, how much rounds do you chant? And he said, I chant around 192 rounds every day. How much hours it takes? It takes around 20-21 hours. So whole day he chants. And then I developed more relationship with him. Other days when I used to come, my respect for him increased. And then I asked him, Babaji, I used to associate with him just for a few minutes. And then I found out this Baba knows his past 3 births. And he said that I was this and this in my this birth, then in this birth, and now I'm here, I'm like this. I have met another devotee as well from Bihar. His name is Sangeet Madhav Das. He also knows his past 3 births. And he went and checked. He went with the devotees, and the devotees confirmed that yes, there was someone like that. And 3 births were confirmed. So Krishna gives us the remembrance. So in the case of Bharat Maharaj, that because he practiced sincere devotional service, in the body of a deer also, the deer realized that he was King Bharat in the past life, and because of the attachment to the deer, he became a deer. So this deer was born in a certain place, but he started walking towards Gandaki river in Nepal, and then it left his body in Gandaki river, and then that deer became another. It came as a Brahmana, as a son of a Brahmana boy, and he was called as Jada Bharat. Now when he came as Jada Bharat, so as a Jada Bharat, he knew his past birth as a deer, and he was able to also know that he was Bharat Maharaj. At the time, he ruled the whole kingdom, whole world. Imagine a person who is ruling the whole world has to become a deer in the next life. That is the nature of the material world, dear devotees. And that same deer again became Jada Bharat. But as Jada Bharat, he was very, very careful this time. He decided that in this life, he will remain as a deaf and dumb person. He had no business with the material world. Respected devotees, if you want to attain perfection in this life, then we have to finish our business with the material world. Unless we are done with this, we cannot actually start the path of attaining the Supreme Lord. We can be devotees, we can be practicing Krishna consciousness, but we have to get done with this material world. Unless we have this desire, so-called desires for enjoying this material world, Krishna will not be available. We might be practicing devotional service, karma mishrit bhakti, that will go on, but unless we are done with this material world. So Jada Bharat decided that he has got enough lessons from the life as a deer, and now he has got again the human form of life. So Jada Bharat decided that this lifetime I will not take any risk. So he started behaving like a deaf and a dumb person. He was born in a Brahmana family. So his father made an attempt to teach him Gayatri and so many things, and he was indicating to him that he cannot learn anything. So that he wanted that everybody should consider him as a fool and ignore him. And he wanted to live like that. He used to not take bath for days after days. And Jada Bharat started to live like that. Although he was conscious of everything, and 24 hours he was only thinking of Krishna. Always chanting the names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He was so fixed this time. Now Jada Bharat was, how he used to maintain himself, how he used to live. He was being used, in the fields, if you see, there is a, what they say, they keep a scarecrow, right? What they say? Scarecrow. So he was being used as a scarecrow during the daytime. And Jada Bharat, forget about Jada, Maharaj Bharat, I'll say Maharaj Bharat, who became a deer, and now he was standing as a scarecrow on a field, and he was okay with that, because for everybody else in the world, he was an idiot, and for him, he wanted that people should consider him like that. And Jada Bharat was completely fine, and for doing that, he used to get food, and sometimes the food he used to get was, stale food he used to get. The leftover from yesterday or the day before, that was served to him, and he was okay with that. Jada Bharat was strong and stout, very strong and stout. And his brothers and everybody used to tease Jada Bharat, used to make fun of him, and he tolerated that. People used to throw stones at him, he tolerated that. People used to laugh at it, Jada Bharat tolerated that. Everything he tolerated, because he decided that whatever comes his way, he is not going to speak. And one fine day, when Jada Bharat was, on the field doing that, a group of dacoits were planning to offer Bali to Mother Kali. And they were looking for an appropriate body, a person. So they went and found Jada Bharat, who was sitting as a scarecrow. And they said, come. And he did not, he was a Brahmana, but he did not take bath. He never took bath actually. So they took him, and there was a Brahman thread on him. So they realized that there is a Brahmana, but they still went ahead. They gave him a bath. They started feeding him nicely. So Jada Bharat ate nicely. For the first time, I don't know, but he got the best food. They all prepared him to offer it to Kali. And then he was placed on where he was about to get cut. And the big khadag was brought in. And the pujari, he went and he was about to kill Jada Bharat. And Jada Bharat was actually Jad also during that time. He had nothing to do with this business. He was simply depending on the will of the Lord. He was thinking that if this is the will of the Lord, let it happen. But he did not retaliate. He did not actually say a word to these people. He took this as a will of the Lord, and he decided, okay, it's time to die now. It was good. He was thinking of Krishna and he was about to die. But Kali could not digest that. Mother Kali, she could not digest that. She came out of the deity. She took that same khadak and in front of Jada Bharat cut the heads of the dacoits and kicked it like a football. She used to cut the head, and with her leg she used to kick, ek goal, do goal, teen goal. So she killed everybody. And then she offered pranams to Jada Bharat ji, and she went. She disappeared. That is the glory of a devotee of the Lord. That Kali thought that if this Paramhamsa Vaishnava, Jada Bharat was a Paramhamsa, if he gets killed, where will I show my face? So that was the situation with Bharat Maharaj and Jada Bharat. So when such a Jada Bharat once was again sitting as a scarecrow. He was sitting as a scarecrow again. That was his business. That was his duty every day. He was sitting as a scarecrow. And he used to get fed and taken care of just by that service. So a king of Sindh Pradesh was traveling to meet Kapila Bhagavan. His name was Rahugan. And King Rahugan, he was traveling in a palanquin. And there were people taking carrying him. And after every certain kilometers or certain villages, the carriers were changed. And there was a manager who used to pay them. He used to go to the villages, found an appropriate person, pay that person and get him. And then for a few villages he used to go. We'll complete in 5 minutes. So don't worry. So so they found Jada Bharat again. These people, the manager found Jada Bharat because one of the carriers was tired. So then he found Jada Bharat. And so Jada Bharat was brought and he was carrying the palanquin. Maharaj Bharat was carrying the palanquin of a very small, tiny king. Imagine. So that while the palanquin, because Jada Bharat was very careful of watching the insects and making sure that ants and the insects are not getting killed. So he used to jump from here, jump from there, jump from here, jump from there. And 4 of them were carrying that palanquin. So one was jumping, so everybody was jumping. It was very difficult. Right? So this 3 of them used to get disturbed, and the king inside, Rahugan, was getting more disturbed. And he was saying, you rascals, you just cannot carry a palanquin. And he said, no sir, this one person, the newly appointed person, is creating difficulties. He's just looking down and walking. And then he just started chastising Jada Bharat. And when that chastisement went on and on and on for good amount of time, for the first time in the history of this life of this Jada Bharat spoke. Jada Bharat, why he spoke? Because Rahugan was a qualified person. Rahugan was a king. He was a bit puffed up, but he was an adhikari, and he was going to meet Lord Kapila. But he came across Jada Bharat. So Jada Bharat asked him only 5 questions. For the first time in his life, this Jada Bharat spoke. The person who never spoke throughout his life, but here is seeing a qualified person, he spoke, he asked 5 questions to Rahugan, and that 5 questions were based on, about the supreme identity of your Supreme Lord, who is Supreme Lord, who is me, who is his body, and so many questions about that. Why do you think that I am carrying this palanquin? I'm not a body, I'm a soul, something like that. 5 questions were asked, and Rahugan, when he heard that 5 questions from such a person who was carrying a palanquin, he just got down from his palanquin and offered prostrate obeisances to Jada Bharat. He said, "Who are you? Please." And there was a very nice discussion between both of them. There is a detailed discussion between Jada Bharat and Maharaj Rahugan, and King and Maharaj and Jada Bharat actually was was answering all his questions, and he was so impressed that he asked him, "Who are you, sir? Are you Lord Kapila? Are you Dattatreya? Or are you who are you?" He said, "You want to know me? Huh? Have you heard of the name Bharat Maharaj Bharat?" "Well, yeah, that's me." Huh? And Bharat Maharaj, and he explained his whole life story. And then Rahugan surrendered to Bharat Maharaj, Jada Bharat, and he accepted him as Guru. And there was a further discussion on the attachment of how this material world is and how people get attached in the so-called relationships of the material world. And he gave practical example of his own, that how he became attached to deer. And then Rahugan actually became a Paramhamsa Vaishnava. When you meet a sadhu, the sadhu will make you like him. If a sadhu is a Paramhamsa, and if you are a true Shishya, Sadhu Shishya, if you go and meet a genuine sadhu, then that sadhu will make you like him. So Rahugan became a Paramhamsa Vaishnava, and he was traveling and preaching. That he did not go further from there. He remained with them, and then he also started wandering like a Paramhamsa. So that was the life of Maharaj Jada Bharat in brief, and that was our today's discussion. Thank you so much for your time and association, and any questions, any comments are welcomed.
So I have 2 or 3 questions, if I'm allowed.
Please, go ahead.
We've always understood Dhruv-lok to be a new planet created by Narayan Vishnu.
Yeah.
But you explained it that it's actually Shweta-dweep itself.
Yes. But it's in the purport also. Prabhupada explained the purport as well. So whatever I'm talking, every word, it is from the purports. I'm not doing anything outside of Prabhupada's purports. Maximum I touch Vishwanath Thakur, that's it. So Srila Prabhupada also writes in the purport confirming that Shwetadeep is Dhruvaloka. Basically it was called as Shwetadeep. The Lord renamed that his planet with name of Dhruva. And that is above Brahmaloka. Brahma's abode, not Brahmaloka, Brahma's abode. So Shwetadeep is Prapanchika Vaikunta. That is the place where all the demigods, along with Brahma and all, they go and offer prayers. Sometimes the Lord reciprocates to them directly. Sometimes he gives messages through Brahma. So that is the place. But they stand on the shore, Devatas. Dhruv-loka is inside. The Dhruv resides inside.
Thank you. During King Venu's time,
Vena,
things were so bad that Mother Earth stopped giving produce.
Yes.
Stopped giving minerals, all the things she gives normally. And yet we are in Kali Yuga, where it's also supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to compare that.
Actually, the Mother Earth is supplying the food, supplying everything. The sun is rising, the moon is rising, because of only 2 reasons. Either Krishna is on the planet or his pure devotees are on the planet. If Krishna is on the planet, Mother Earth is pleased. But if Krishna is not there, then his pure devotees, the sadhus, the eternal associates of the Lord, who are from the spiritual world, they're always on the planet. And they're because they walk around the Mother Earth, so that that purifies their existence. The sadhus are such that they even purify the places of pilgrimage. They go to the places of pilgrimage to purify the place of pilgrimage. All the people of the world, they go to place of pilgrimage and they dump their sins there. But when the sadhus goes there, he purifies that place of pilgrimage. That is how glorious the sadhus are. The pure unalloyed devotees of the Lord, who have captured Krishna in their heart, who have kidnapped Krishna in their heart. So they are the ornaments of the earth. And when they travel on the earth, Mother Earth is happy. Because Jaha Sadhu, Taha Krishna, Taha Vrindavan. Wherever the sadhus are, in their heart Krishna resides. Krishna might have disappeared from the earthly planets, but he resides in the heart of the devotees, of such unalloyed devotees. And that's why Mother Earth is pleased to do the service.
Thank you for that. And one last question.
Yes.
When Dhruv Maharaj was offered the things he was asking for, the things he was seeking, a bigger kingdom than his father's, etc. And then he refused, saying, I was looking for broken glass, but
yes,
I found a diamond. I don't want that anymore. That's very poetic, very nice. I like the way it's phrased, but it's not in the written like that in the Bhagavatam. It must have come from somewhere.
What? It's written in the Bhagavatam. Yes, it's in the Bhagavatam. That's the Bhagavatam.
My mistake.
Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you said, the Rishabdev was the Shaktavesh avatar. So I think about 2 weeks ago, me and Guru Sevak was discussing about Shaktavesh avatar. So could we explain, does Shaktavesh avatar always Krishna himself, or sometimes an ordinary, soul can become Shaktavesh avatar because get powers from Krishna?
Yes. So Shaktavesh avatars are basically empowered souls, which are the Lord empowers, gives them Shakti to do a particular kind of thing. The Lord empowers a person to do a particular activity. So that Shakti is given to that person, and that's why it's called a Shaktya Avesh. That's why he's empowered to do a certain kind of activity. So that's why it is the Lord who empowers jivas, but this is not ordinary jivas. These are special personalities, and they are empowered to do such a act. This is Prithu Maharaj also. So there are so many various kinds of Shaktavesh avatars are there. Lagu Bhagavatam is a place where Lagu Bhagavatam is a very beautiful, supportive literature to Srimad Bhagavatam. It helps with giving lot of clarity, because there are so many Manus. They are there they come and in so many incarnations, Leela Avtaras, Purusha Avtaras, and Guna Avtaras, Shaktavesh Avtaras. They come in different Manus. And in Bhagavatam also there are a lot of things are mentioned about different Avtaras. So Lagu Bhagavatamrit helps us in chronologically understanding at what time, what duration, and which Manvantara the different Avtaras they came. And also at the same time, we get to know a lot of details, like Lord Ramachandra did not come in this Treta Yuga. He came in a different Treta Yuga. So this Treta Yuga there was a different incarnation. So all these things are in detail are described in Lagu Bhagavatamrit. So one should definitely read that little book, and it will be very beneficial. Yes, Prabhu.
One more thing, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes. He said that before Bharat Maharaj, our Bharat Varsha used to call Ajnab Varsha. I don't know, somewhere as I if I can remember, it used to call Ilabritu Varsha. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. So there used to be different name based on the different kings. The world used to be called by their name. But Bharat, the way Bharat ruled the whole world, so that name still is there.
It's the most current one, isn't it?
Yeah, current one. Yes. We have 2 mics, right?
Prabhuji, you were telling about yoga and how it is being copied everywhere. Especially in the US, I find they literally make millions using yoga.
Yes.
If I copy an ordinary assignment from another friend, that is called plagiarism, and I can be sued for. That's how the law is. But why there's no law against this? Why we have not patented this? The reason I'm telling, if we don't do this, maybe under 20 years, even Bhagavad Gita may be plagiarized. Definitely, I'm telling you. Because they've changed the name of the yogic postures. The Vajrasana and all that, they're given new names.
They will try to hijack they will try to hijack everything. But it is our glory that the Westerners, America is following the yogic path. So if they might patent anything, but the world knows, everybody knows that its origin is Bharat Bhumi. And Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada started ISKCON in the Western world. When I remember that in an interview when someone asked Prabhupada at the London Heathrow airport, that why are you here? He said that British came to India, they stayed for 200 years, they took away everything, but they forgot one thing, so I'm come here to give them that. And what is that? They forgot the culture of India, so I'm come here to give the culture of India. And that's Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. We are happy if they can adopt that, if they can patent that, copy that, whatever they want to do. But if they can bring that in their lives, they'll become better human beings. Right now, there is an animalistic life which has been led outside. So if they can study Bhagavad Gita, they will become a human being at least. Yes, you had some questions.
Hello, Prabhuji. Sorry if this question sounds like very naive, okay? And,
no problem.
So I was just hearing the first story, the story of Kardama Muni and Deval.
Yeah.
So it was quite nice to see that how she did and performed her duties, although they had like status symbol differences, because she was very rich and everything. So I was just trying to, relate it with today's kind of woke kind of world, like all the, like women empowerment or like feminist kind of things. And how do we keep the, I think, relevance of those kind of teachings to today's kind of, youth? Because they would just completely revolt. Like, I'm so rich, why do I have to give so many sacrifices? Only person who's benefiting is the husband. Okay. And later on he says thank you and then goes to sannyas.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your question. So all this pastimes which are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, although they might have been happening some millennium before or centuries before, but they are kept and they are spoken by Shukadeva Goswami for this particular age, for this particular audience, and the conclusions are presented in such a way that we can derive a lot of things, a lot of insights can be taken from that. Now, marriage is marriage means a husband and wife, they both have respective duties and respective roles and responsibilities towards the grahastha ashram, right? The wife has a role and a responsibility. The husband also has a role and responsibility, right? So here, the era might be different, but the mood needs to be taken that although she was coming from an opulent family, she did not bring that pride in that relationship. Okay, so the husband might be poor and from a middle class family, and the wife might be coming from a rich family, but out of their loving relationships, she agrees to stay with him. but then she stays with him, then she adopts to that lifestyle. She does not bring that, oh, I'm rich and you're poor. So that is not healthy for a relationship. When that pride comes in, envy comes in, greed comes in, then that disturbs the marriage. So the insight to be taken from this is that how Devhuti, although she was coming from a wealthy family, but she adopted to the lifestyle of her husband because her husband was very loving and very affectionate, very caring. And then when that love is there in the relationship, then one can sacrifice anything. So what has to be said of the opulence? Huh? So Devhuti saw that he was a loving and caring husband, and she knew that her husband was very, very powerful. So one should in today's scenario, the girl should see that her husband is a devotee. She see that if she is a devoted husband, if she gets a husband who is devoted to Krishna, the Supreme Lord, practicing bhakti, that means he's not into illicit activity, he's not into meat eating, he's not into intoxication, he's not into gambling. So she should be fortunate to get such a person in her life. And then she should not bring her personal opulence and everything. She might be more qualified than him, but that should not be brought here. But if a girl is getting a person as a partner who has a lot of good qualities, and then that should be seen, and they can work together in harmony for a auspicious householder life. So there are so many such insights can be taken. Okay.
But if the husband isn't devoted,
yes,
what happens then to the marriage?
If the husband is not devotee, then what?
Then the women have equal rights.
If the husband is not a devotee, but if he's a caring person, if he's committed relationship and he is, they are good to go. They are understanding each other. They are appreciating each other, and they are going well. Then, if he might not be a devotee, but at least there are something called as human qualities. If he is human being and he values relationship, he values and appreciates her presence in her life, and he's ready to work as a team. Now, husband and wife, they have to work as a team. Unless they work as a team, unless there is a friendship in between them, the life doesn't go. So the relationship spoils because the friendship in the marriage is missing. When the friendship is not there, the caring attitude is not there, and then it's a compromise thing. So there are lessons to be learned. If he's not a devotee, then he should be made into a devotee. What's the problem? He can be encouraged and can be brought in, and at least there are some values which can be taken from these stories.
I mean, from my experience, if a couple has a common goal, which is away from them, it keeps them in unison. But if the goal is each other, sooner or later they're going to get bored with each other.
Yes.
And that's where they start to look elsewhere for some interest in their life.
Yes.
So it is important that even if you're not a devotee, but you have a common goal of being friends to each other,
yes,
doing things together and whatever, and be honest and whatever. No, it's not sense gratification.
Yeah.
We're on this journey, we're supporting each other, we're born, we're going to die. There should be that realization, even if it isn't God realization. That is harmony.
Yes, that's why they share things with each other. They invest time. Marriage means once people have a mindset that they are married, now she belongs to me. Now there is no need to invest. Now no need to waste a lot of time on her. So let me focus on some other aspects, and that is where the marriage spoils. The wife also thinks in the same way. Where will he go? He's not married to me. Where will he go? So let me focus on so many other things. Let me focus on the kids and all. So it doesn't work like that. When we are in a relationship, then there are a lot of responsibilities towards each other, and one lot of investment needs to be done in terms of time. So more and more time is put in the relationship, and like sitting down and discussing things. There are so many issues. If they are simply sat down together, discussed with each other, they can be solved. But because they don't invest time, because they don't discuss, they keep on dragging and dragging and dragging. The issues become big and big and big. And Anyways, we'll discuss a lot in the workshop.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, we're good. Oh, you got it.
There's no love also in most cases. It's only law. They sign a document. And that's why, it's all law. That's why they call mother-in-law, father-in-law.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so much. Actually, we have always heard these pastimes earlier, but I was never able to relate who's father, who's the son, and who's, parents of whom. So this is a very nice chronological explanation. So we are getting more related to these characters as well. So I was just, out of curiosity, I was just wondering, as Devhuti, she's the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. And who is Kradamba Muni?
Son of Brahma.
Son of Brahma.
Yeah.
So all three characters like Kradamba Muni and then Daksha Prajapati and Lord Shiva, they all are son of Brahma?
There are Manas Putras. There are a lot of Manas Putras are there. Daksha Prajapati, Kardam Muni. There are different times when Brahmaji actually a lot of rishis and all, they're all born from Brahma. Actually, everything is born from Brahmaji, but especially Kashyap Muni had 13 wives, and then lot of population came from them. All the animals, different kinds of animals, and so many things were born from the wives of Kashyapa. So there are different rishis were born from Brahmaji for different purposes. But all of them had a common business of increasing the population. The majority of them were Prajapatis. They increased the population. So yes, they were all Manas Putras, Brahma's Putras.
Thank you so much.
No. Lord Shiva is different. Lord Shiva is different. Yeah, Shiva is Shiva. He's neither Jiva, neither Supreme Lord, but he's special category. The Shiva Tattva is a separate category.
Jiva, he's Shiva. Okay, thank you, everybody. Round of applause for this wonderful. And what I'm impressed with is all of you came. I mean, usually Sunday program in our temple, and that's when people come most. Congratulations to you. You've attended. You've given us this confidence that every year we can actually invite you. And we can have a saptah. This sort of saptah is really, really good.
But I'll request if we can have 14 sessions, because for Bhagavatam, if you want,
days.
no. What we can do, this also what Bhagavatam we're discussing, it's too condensed actually. Usually if at least to go in much detail, I could have gone, but in much detail, but there is no time. Actually, trying to every day there are 50 chapters minimum to be covered. Can you imagine? There's so much pressure on me to cover 50 chapters per sitting in 1.5 hours. I know your capacity of sitting. I can go on, but in that 1.5 hours today also, we covered around 50 chapters. We have gone through that. So
we haven't spoken about Priyavrat, which is in the line.
Yes, and there are so many things. There's so many things what to speak, what not to speak. But if we get 14 sessions in 7 days, morning, evening, if that can be done, then a lot of justice can be given to the subject matter.
Or you come for 14 days.
Yeah, either.
Right, round of applause again. That was fantastic. So please, I do encourage you to please purchase. It's only £10. You're supporting, and Prabhuji is just touring. He's a grihastha. He's in Brindavan. He's got so many responsibilities, and he's taken time out. And I know they are dedicated. They dedicated their lives to Srila Prabhupada, and many ministries as well. So there's a lot of admin stuff like that. So please show your support and get this book and get it autographed, right? So there's that. Now I would like you to stand up, and we'll do just 5 minutes kirtan. Yes. Oh yeah, if you haven't signed the register, there's a pad here. Whose pen is that? Oh, you should next time sit on it. I sit on it. This is a register, please sign if you haven't signed it. And then at the end of, on Saturday, you'll get a certificate for having attended. Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay. So, where's Guru Sahib? Oh, everybody's signature. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Tuma Bina Ke Doyalu Jagat
Patita Pavana Hetu Sab Avatara Musama Patita Prabhu Na Paibeora Ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balakana Karo Ami Baladukhi Daya Karo Sitapati Advaita Goswami Tab Kripa Bale Paaye Chaitanya Nitai Aswarupa Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhat Juga Shrijiva Prabhu Loknatha Daya Karo Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sangamange Narottama Dasa Radhe Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Tum Bina Ke Dayalu Jagat Sansare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai
Lord Nrsimhadev ki jai, Bhakt Prahlad ki jai, Krishna Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Guru Maharaj ki, Guru Purnima ki. What a way to celebrate Guru Purnima. Narada Muni of Ved Vyasa. So with the Prabhu, the arrangement, I think